News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Federal fraud and corruption charges filed in Missoula. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. Congratulations, you made it. It's Friday, January 15th, 2016. And right now we have 23 degrees under a cloudy sky in western Montana. Roads pretty good shape, much better than yesterday. Mostly bare and dry or bare and wet throughout western Montana this morning. Our newscast sponsored by locally owned Office Solutions and Services. Download their Office Shopper app for purchases, barcode scanning, and to search products. The former CEO of a Montana appliance and electronics store has been indicted on federal charges alleging he defrauded the employee-owned company, forcing it into bankruptcy. George Manlove pleaded not guilty in U.S. District Court in Missoula this week to 221 federal charges, including conspiracy, money laundering, fraud, and making false statements to a bank. He was released on his own recognizance. A trial date has not yet been set. The indictment alleges Manlove and an unindicted co-conspirator defrauded Vans, its employee shareholders, lenders, and the company's bankruptcy estate. In part, prosecutors allege Manlove and others created shell companies, borrowed money to purchase buildings that housed Vans stores, then directed Vans to make lease payments to the shell companies. Charging documents also allege Manlove had Vans pay thousands of dollars in personal expenses. 45-year-old Kathy Lamb appeared in Missoula Justice Court yesterday after nearly running several people down Wednesday, fleeing from police, and then running her car up on the sidewalk outside KECI television and trying to get into the building, which was caught on their surveillance video. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Celine Kepke has details.
The defendant is appearing on numerous charges, including 3 counts of criminal endangerment. She took officers on a chase from the jail to downtown, nearly hitting 3 different people, and the defendant later laughed about what she had done. Hang on. And this all occurred right after she was released from jail on other charges.
Kepke asked for bail to be set at $25,000, in part due to Lamb's extensive criminal history.
On the 9th of this month, she had a disorderly conduct. On the 10th, she was booked in on assault, unlawful restraint, criminal mischief, and obstructing a peace officer. She also has 14 other traffic convictions.
Lamb, who spoke to the judge directly and interrupted several times during her court appearance, instead of following court protocol and allowing her public defender to speak for her, complained that she didn't have her medication and asked for a chair to sit in, among other things. Judge Geer set bail at Suzanne Geer, substitute justice of the peace Suzanne Geer, set bail at $20,000 and ordered Lamb to be taken to a mental health facility. A Southwest Idaho man has been sentenced to life in prison for beating a Nampa, Idaho man to death because he showed disrespect and couldn't settle a $700 drug debt. The Idaho Press Tribune reports Raul Herrera on Wednesday was sentenced to life in prison. The 22-year-old will be eligible for parole after 35 years. Both Herrera and Angelo Cervantes are accused of beating and tying up 46-year-old Jeffrey Dyer in November of 2014. Dyer's body was found in the trunk of his Cadillac in a parking lot in Oregon. An autopsy showed he died of blunt force trauma. Cervantes pleaded guilty in the case and was sentenced to 15 years to life back in September. High avalanche warnings have been issued across west central Montana, including the Southern Mission, Southern Swans, and Central Bitterroots. Director of the Montana Avalanche Center, Steve Karkinen, says current avalanche conditions led to one recent incident near Lookout Pass.
What we do know is that 3 skiers left the ski area. First person that jumped into the basin triggered an avalanche. He was caught partially buried in. He broke a leg in the process. The other 2 were okay, but all 3 were stranded in that basin, which is quite a ways away from the ski area. And so it took search and rescue quite a bit of work and effort with 2 Bear Air. Then search and rescue later on went in and retrieved the 3rd.
Karkinen said fortunately all skiers are in good condition, but avalanche danger continues to increase.
We raised the avalanche danger to high for the Central Bitterroot, the Northern Bitterroot, and the Rattlesnake in the areas near Seeley Lake and the Southern Swan and Mission Mountains based on a lot of new snow. We're concerned about that for the next couple of days, especially if we continue to get high winds and more snow.
Karkinen said the most dangerous terrain is anything that's steeper than 35 degrees and anything leeward above 7,000 feet, as that's where most of the avalanche potential lies at this point. The American stock market has had a rough ride since the start of 2016. Earlier this week, the Dow was down 300 points to just over 16,000. We just heard the Dow futures are down another 300 points this morning. And the average investor is wondering what to do next. Patrick Barkey, director of the University of Montana Bureau of Business and Economic Research, said things are changing on the world stage.
The stock market is digesting new information. When it does move, and as much as it's moved since the beginning of the year, it usually means that something very different is dawning on the folks making trades. And the answer to that question is largely offshore.
Barkey said all investors, both individual and institutional, should be paying close attention to the markets at this time.
What is your appetite for risk? If you're young, you got a lot of years ahead of you and working and saving, you may have a higher appetite for risk than you would if you were near retirement age and don't have a lot of opportunity to offset any kind of downward movement in your portfolio.
Barkey said each individual investor is ultimately responsible for how they manage their money. This week, the Missoula County Detention Center began accepting applications for 6 open positions. According to Training Lieutenant Jeff Roderick, there are 6 positions open, each pay an hourly wage of $17.50.
The way our hiring process works is that everyone needs to fill out the job application online through Missoula County. They can go to the county website through the Human Resources Department, find the link, they apply. After they apply online, they're going to have to submit what we call prove-it tests. They'll have to go to the job service in town and take 4 different tests on different aptitude skills.
Roderick said a background in law enforcement is not needed for the positions, all of which are in the adult facility off Mullen Road. There are certain skills the tests are designed to look for.
We look for people with great communication skills. We want people that want a career. This is actually a career. We know that people use it for a stepping stone for other law enforcement like our patrol division. But there's numerous people who have made careers, including myself. So we do have the sheriff's retirement system we are a part of. Truly, you get out of this job what you want to put in.
The recruitment window closes February 8th. The National Park Service seeking public comment on a quarantine to help identify brucellosis-free bison in Yellowstone National Park. Here's Sandy Snell-Dobert.
The purposes for a quarantine would be to establish new conservation and cultural herds of plains bison. Basically, the quarantine would hold bison so that they can be tested for brucellosis.
Snell-Dobert said those testing positive would be slaughtered. Those testing negative would be used on tribal lands in order to build standing herds.
Documents should be submitted by February 15th. There's lots of information available. It's on the Planning, Environment, and Public Comment website at www.parkplanning.nps.gov/bison quarantine.
Get more details on our website, newstalkkgvo.com. It is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Chance of a snow shower or flurry today in the Missoula area. High this afternoon right around 32 degrees. Moderate to heavy snow expected as we head into Saturday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for the NBC Montana Severe Weather Alert Team.